Ramadan Karim! It is Ramadan, the holiest month of the year for Muslims, and in honor of the occasion, we're going to do Islam in 5 minutes. God help me. I'm Rebecca Farnum, this is Ramblings with Rebecca. And today, Islam 101, in way too short a time, preceded by a really big disclaimer, okay? If you asked Christians to define Christianity in 5 minutes, they would all come up with very different answers. And a non-Christian would probably give a very different definition of Christianity than a Christian would, and a scholar would give a different definition, etc., etc. Okay? So what I'm about to say are kind of mainstream basics on a fairly superficial level. Very likely, many Muslims would focus on different parts or define elements a little differently, and everyone who identifies as Muslim is not necessarily going to identify with everything I say. So, disclaimer, but the basic facts of Islam overall attempting. Here we go. Islam is an Abrahamic faith, monotheistic, meaning a belief in one God. It is the second largest in the world, and it is one of the fastest growing. A follower of Islam is called a Muslim. There are two major denominations, one Sunni, about 80% of the world's Muslims, and the other Shia, about 15%. Sufi Islam is a mystical Islam, and is also given a good amount of recognition and scholarship. The majority of the world's Muslims do not live in the Middle East. 40% of them live in South and Southeast Asia, not the Middle East. The Middle East is where Islam originated, but so too did Christianity and Judaism. Just saying. Also significant Muslim majorities in Africa, Europe, and Americas. Muslims believe that the Quran is the final and unaltered revelation of God, and Muhammad was the last prophet. So we've got everything that we need to live life the way God calls us to, so long as we are following the Quran and accompanying teachings of the prophet. It is an Abrahamic faith, so it holds central a lot of the same teachings and prophets and teachers as Judaism and Christianity. So Jesus, for Muslims, was an important prophet of God, and a lot of Jesus' teachings are central to Muslim doctrines and worldviews. It's just they also have Muhammad and Muhammad's teachings, and he is seen as the last prophet and kind of the biggest one because of that, and because God's final revelation was given through Muhammad. However, Islam was actually seen as Christian heresy for quite a while in Christian history. Fun fact. There are 5 basic pillars in the Islam faith: belief, prayer, fasting, charity, and the Hajj, the pilgrimage. So, 1. Belief. The Shahada is a declaration of faith, saying that there is only one God, Allah, and Muhammad is God's prophet. Number 2. Prayer, Salah, the 5 daily prayers. There are different formulas for each time throughout the day. They face the Kaaba in Mecca, one of the holiest sites. You'll hear the call to prayer in most Muslim majority areas, and then on Friday there's a Juma in most places, a gathering or community prayer, so they'll go to the mosque for kind of a big prayer if they can. Often this is accompanied by a sermon of sorts, and or other community gathering and community meetings. So in most religious communities, when you get together, you also, have food together and do community announcements and that kind of thing. So Friday is kind of the Muslim holy day of gathering worship, but prayers are held individually every day, 5 times a day. Number 3, zakat, charity or almsgiving, pretty self-explanatory. Number 4, fasting. Muslims fast ritually from sunup to sundown during Ramadan, which is the month that the Quran is thought to have been revealed. It's a lunar calendar, so Ramadan moves throughout the solar year. And since they fast from sunup to sundown, Ramadan becomes more and less difficult depending on the month it actually falls in on the solar calendar. And then Muslims will also fast at other times for issues of purification and forgiveness and that kind of thing. And then number 5, the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. Once in their lifetimes, all Muslims who are able-bodied and able to do so financially, etc., are expected to make pilgrimage to Mecca, the most holiest of sites. A very, very profound moment for a lot of Muslims, seeing Muslims from all over the world, and kind of it's definitely the biggest moment of community worship for most people who are able to do the Hajj. So there you go. That is the basics of the Islamic faith in 5 minutes. Forgive me, everyone.